she said that Bill Clinton must think that half of the public is stupid and doesn't recognize any of this, and the other half is as corrupt as he is, and therefore isn't going to matter. It isn't going to matter. I hope that she's not right, because that would be a terrible indictment of this country if that were the case.
Yeah, and I don't really think that is the case, but I take her point. I think we've got a situation right now where the Clinton campaign spin has been so unbelievably adept, as opposed to the Dole campaign spin or even our party spin, that they've gotten away with it, and they've been colluded in the whole thing with the national media. And we've never gotten to first base. And I know this, your viewers have heard this probably over and over again, but it bears repeating. If Ronald Reagan or George Bush had their staff secure and properly over 900 FBI files, and to play with them the way these political people did in the White House, people would have gone to jail immediately, and the national media would have gone berserk.
And it'd be a front-page story every day, week after week after week.
Well, we have another report today which is almost as galling, and that is that Bill Clinton is running ads on Christian radio stations, commercial Christian radio stations, in which he proclaims his support for the Defense of Marriage Act and says that he is in favor of restrictions on late-term abortions. Now, of course, the fact is that he signed the Defense of Marriage Act in the middle of the night. His staff was out trashing the legislation as an example of bigoted legislation, and he was assuring, his people were assuring the various homosexual groups that, in fact, don't worry about this because no doubt it'll be declared unconstitutional. And in terms of the partial birth abortion bill, I mean, you know, here you have the only president who has been condemned by the Roman Catholic Church. Never in history of this country has a pope condemned a president of the United States, and it happened over this partial birth abortion. You have Billy Graham and Mother Teresa on one side and Bill Clinton on the other side, and he has the temerity to put on Christian radio stations ads saying the opposite of what his policy actually was. I mean, this is breathtaking.
Well, I certainly hope somebody's going to take copies of the ads, at least, and mail them to all the pro-choice groups to let Bill Clinton be exposed to his own allies in the pro-choice movement for being against Slick Willie on this thing, because no one in the national media is going to care about that. They're going to, like, applaud Bill Clinton and say, hey, good move, guy. You can have your argument both ways, and that's all we've been putting up with for 4 years. And if I had to really point to one thing that is just so disturbing, is the American people seem to have forgotten the Bill Clinton of 93 and 94, and they are totally focusing on Bill Clinton, the Republican of 95 and 96, and he's getting away with it.
I thought that that's what Dole should have done in the last campaign. There really have been already 2 Clinton administrations. The first one, which was a total failure. The second one, when the Republicans controlled Congress, and he was forced to look a little bit more like a chameleon, and he forgets the first one, and the American public seems to have amnesia to some extent, because they let him get away with it. It is only the things that he was able to accomplish when Republicans controlled Congress that he brags about, and he doesn't tell you about all the other things that he's done in the first part of his administration.
Let's take a quick call from New York City. You're on Campaign 96.
Yes, you got to remember, when you're dealing with old Slicky there, his campaign is all a whitewash. You know that. Everything he says, he'll tell you one thing today and do something else tomorrow. The American people are already fooled. They don't care, period. If they listen to this guy, he'll sell you the Niagara Falls, the Brooklyn Bridge, and these people are stupid enough to buy it, and they're going to do it. That is Mr. Slick. Okay?
One of the things that amazed me, consistent with your caller's point, was during the Democratic National Convention, where Clinton, in his acceptance speech, took credit for 7 specific items. And of those 7 were in the 10 items in the contract with America. Never mentioned the contract with America.
No, because he
got away with it.
Well, and I mean, he spent a year saying that the Republican Congress was extremist.
Right.
It's absolutely
just
amazing.
Call them names.
We have to take a break. When Campaign 96 returns, more of your questions and comments. Call us at 1-800-5000-NET, or you can fax us at 202-544-2405. More Campaign 96 is next. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Values in the culture. It meets the challenge of providing the tools necessary to further the pursuit of freedom across the world, and encourages the principles of conservative governance and institutional reform. The Free Congress Foundation.
Former Republican National Chairman under George Bush, and Tom Edmonds, a longtime political consultant in the Washington area. And we are discussing National Character Counts Week, as proclaimed by Bill Clinton. By the way, one of the things that he mentions as an example of his administration addressing character is AmeriCorps, which, so far as I've been able to tell, pays volunteers about $20,000 apiece. Now, if that is an example of character, then the whole notion, I guess, has to be reconstituted.
And for your viewers, this is again the program that pays better benefits to these volunteers than veterans get, just to show you what their priorities out there in life are.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Huntsville, Alabama. You're on Campaign 96.
Hello, I'm an undecided voter, but I'm going to tell you something. I feel that I represent America, and I think I'm very rational. And when I hear programs that don't give both sides of an issue, that only attempt to have a relentless attack against the president and demonize this man, it makes me want to turn the other way. Rational people look at both sides. And when you talk about character, you have to look at some of the things that this president has done good. Yes, he has made mistakes. Yes, he has some character flaws. But let's take a look at just a few of the things that this president has done right. And I'm going to tell you that I believe the minute that Dole tomorrow night goes negative, with the hatchet man techniques, he's going to sew up the election for Bill Clinton. Thank you.
I don't think he was an undecided voter. The fact is, caller, if you want the other side, you can tune to any of the major networks. You can tune to the Clinton News Network, or CNN, as it's called. You can tune to the CBS Evening News, or to ABC, or to NBC. We founded NET to give an alternative voice, not to the Republicans, because we are not a Republican network. We are not GOP TV. I get skewered every week by viewers because I don't take the Republican Party line. But we want an alternative point of view, and the fact of the matter is that the media in this country has been unrelentingly in favor of Bill Clinton and has permitted Bill Clinton to get by with things that no other president, Republican or Democrat, could have gotten by with in the past. It is a scandal in and of itself, and what little opportunity we have to be a balance to that, we're going to take it.
Paul, if I could, wonderful. But if I could also add to that, I just would have to question the viewer and basically say that it's hard to believe that this person could have normal standards. He proclaimed rationality, normal standards of behavior for a president of the United States. To have that many members of the Clinton administration either in jail or indicted, to have the Whitewater scandal with perjury and obstruction of justice, to have the FBI files, to have the Travelgate fiasco where they just violated the rights of 6 career employees in the White House, used the FBI in improper ways, tried to destroy people who were exonerated, and then lied and tried to cover that up as well. It is passing strange to me how we even need to talk about the other side. Frankly, Bill Clinton isn't fit to be president of the United States.
Well, now we have Indonesia Gate, where apparently influence peddling took place for a huge contribution from a gardener, no less, living in a simple townhouse in Northern Virginia. We get $428,000 to the Democratic Party, and a key official from the company in Indonesia joining the Ron Brown Commerce Department, making decisions that affected that company to the tune of $1 billion. And then we have Webster Hubbell who resigns in disgrace, and, you know, he is picked up by these people of counsel to help pay his legal fees. I mean, you know, it just goes on and on.
Well, the pardons that he dangles out there to a bunch of crooks, suggesting he's going to let them off if they keep silent, and it's what the case is with Hillary Clinton. What do you think the media would have done? They would have gone crazy. They're getting away with it.
Okay, let's go to Ocala, Florida. You're on Campaign 96.
Thank you, Paul. Well, you just addressed just about what I was going to say, and that is most people, all they do is watch the news at night and maybe read a little bit of the paper. A lot of them don't even do that. So they form their opinions, like this last caller, out of bigotry, and then they want to think of themselves as being reasonable individuals. But a lot of people are just plain stupid. A lot of them are misinformed. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Another caller agreeing with Mrs. Weyrich there. See, she's getting quite a following across the country. Let's go to Fairfax, Virginia. You're on Campaign 96.
Hi, Paul. I really do enjoy you, and I think that you really are a fair person. One thing that really convinced me that you're fair is that a long time ago I saw you really go after and take umbrage at Sheila Burke, who was Bob Dole's chief of staff, that you were saying that she had exhibited and exerted too much power. My particular take on all this, you know, I know where you all are coming from, is that both Clinton and Dole have a lot of strengths. They're very different. And both of them have their respective weaknesses. I mean, I did read Stanley Hilton's book called Senator for Sale, and he documents, if you read it, you know, Dole and Clinton are both political animals. They've both been politically pliable. They've both had their interface with special interests. But I guess what I'm wanting to posit here to you, don't you think that on some subconscious or some sort of intuitive level, the American people have heard all the character charges against Clinton? They know he's a flawed person, but they see also that he has exhibited a resilience. He's kept his marriage together. He's been a good parent. He's kind of taken punches, rolled with them. Yes, he's dissembled. But don't you think on some level they think that there is a dimension of character to the guy that they like, the temperament, keeping cool under fire, being unflappable, and even perhaps exasperatingly resilient to the tune of what you're saying about this character counts week, that is in some ways the flip side of a character flaw being a plus.
Well, that's an interesting observation. I did have lunch today with the former publisher of the Washington Times, who said that he sort of admired Bill Clinton for his total chutzpah, that you know, at a certain level you have to say, wow, these people are really extraordinary in their ability to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the caller has a point.
I think he's half right. I think the American public bought Bill Clinton as damaged goods, and they knew that. But I can't buy the rest of what the caller is saying. I mean, I really think there is a difference between right and wrong, and really, I don't know how anybody who would be president